Hello, everyone. My name is Stanley St. Rose, and today we're going to be talking about David Walker's appeal to the colored citizens of the world. Now, before I go into the summary analysis of this work, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and/or comment so that the channel can continue to grow. Now, this appeal by David Walker, a lot is going on here. David Walker, he's black, and he's writing to black people. This is during the time of slavery. You had some freed people in America. You had some slaves. You had abolitionists. So you kind of get the sense of the time that we're in within this work. Now, this appeal, David Walker here, he's writing to the citizens, the colored people of the world. Now you can take this however you want to take it, but pretty much he's talking to uh, black people in America or African Americans or formerly enslaved people, however you want to take it. And he's basically telling them that we need to be free, that we have to stop making white people rich, according to the time. Okay, according to the time. This document, this appeal by David Walker, um, some can say it pushed people towards violence. Some people can say that it's very aggressive, very defiant. And it's true. There's some strong language. It's literally, this appeal is like judging America. You know, America, you talk about liberty. This is how David Walker sounds like within this document. While I was reading it myself, this is the type of emotion and energy that you can get from this document. And David Walker, he's saying like, America, you talk about liberty, you talk about freedoms, you talk about, brotherhood and fraternity and all these inalienable rights that we all have, that we all should have, but we don't. We really don't. Especially the black people of America, they do not have these rights. So he's critiquing, he's judging, he's saying, your founding fathers said this and that and the third about free men, about the pursuit of happiness, about all these amazing things that all human beings should have, but black people do not have them. So David Walker, he's not talking to white people within this document, within this appeal. He's talking to black people. He's like, it's time that we look towards abolition. Look at the abolitionists, get freedom. He's talking to the freed people and the enslaved people. He's moving this document, and just for a little bit of historical understanding here, he's moving this document around for black people to read. Those that can read, of course. That's just the time. Not every black person around this time had the ability to read. So he's moving it around. He's really feeding the abolitionists to really fight for the freedom of enslaved people, because he's showing that they were taken from Africa, they were taken from this, that, and the third. And let's keep in mind just a little bit of historical context here. It wasn't just people from Africa who were enslaved in the Americas. A lot of Indians, Native Americans were also enslaved and also put in within the ranks with black people and Indians. They were put into the same living conditions and the same type of same slavery. So we have to also understand that part as well. So David Walker here, he talks about education. He's like, we need education for black people in order for them to prosper and be successful in the future. He talks about freedom. He critiques America, saying that it doesn't provide the liberties and the freedoms that it talks about for all people. So he really he's looking at that whole idea of all men are created equal. A lot of people have looked at that in America and said, are we treating all men as equals? Are we doing what we said that we would do within the very Constitution, people? This is that's very important within this appeal by David Walker here. And again, in the title it says, to the colored people of the world. I think he's basically talking. I mean, this is just my own opinion here, but I think he's just talking to Americans, because yeah, this is American slavery. You're talking about, you're talking to African Americans or formerly enslaved people or freed people. You're not talking to slaves in Europe, and it's just no. Okay. So that's really the appeal. That's the voice of this appeal is defiant. He's talking to black people. He's saying we need to stop making white people rich because if you think about it, the slaves made a lot of white people rich in terms of they were taken from Africa, slave trade, the slave trade and everything. And then after the transatlantic slave trade, they get to America. The slaves get masters, and the masters they pretty much take over America because you need a lot of manpower to take over the ground. Think about the wild animals, think about the wolves, think about the bears, think about the early Americans, the settlers. A lot of them probably died just on bear attacks. I think about that all the time. There are many days where I think about how many people were slaughtered or mauled by bears in early America. Because you could imagine the land was all forest, so I would imagine there were more brown bears and more grizzlies and more, and there was probably like a bear attack every other day. Really, oh, that's a tough way to die. Okay, that's besides the point. That is besides the point with the bears. But seriously though, a lot of white people got rich because they had a lot of slaves. They went out into the country, into different states, and built houses and farms and things like that, and made money. And it was all because of their slaves. And so David Walker is saying here, listen, we got to stop making them rich. We need freedom. We need independence. We need equality. We need, we don't want gradualism. We don't want we don't want to be sent back home because there was a movement of sending black people back to Africa. David Walker saying like we don't want that. We want to stay in America. We want freedom. We want our liberties. We want what we deserve because we helped build it. And that's true. African Americans, specifically African Americans, their ancestors did help build America. They were slaves, yes, but their work on the farms, their work with picking cotton and working all these types of this labor jobs for their masters made America what it is today. So they did help build. They didn't just help build America. They built America. They were the backbone of the work. They did the work in the yards. They built the buildings. They constructed things. Were the farmers. They were the cotton pickers. They made America money. So let's not forget that. Yes, they had masters, and the masters were in charge, but the people who actually sweat and bled for America to be what it is today was truly the slaves. I mean, just logically think about it. They were the ones working in the fields and working out in the sun all day and tirelessly working, and they didn't have a choice, but the fact remains they were the ones that actually, hand to dirt built it. Um, yeah, so that's a part of African American history that needs to be acknowledged more. In terms of analysis, let's get to the analysis. This document to me is kind of angry. It's defiant. At some points, it does feel like it's calling for retaliation. Okay, there's some retaliation in here. It feels like he's saying like maybe there are some certain circumstances where we do have to use physical force. I'm not really on point with that. I don't really like that, but that's what he's saying within the document. I'm giving you the facts within the document, and yeah, I mean this did add some gas to the fire with the abolitionist movement. Because it really galvanized people to really free the slaves. And so that is David Walker's appeal. That's what he's talking about here. He talks about education. He talks about freedom. He talks about the past and slavery and what's its cost or what's its effect on white people and slaves. How slaves helped build America. How we need to join together to look for a better way of life for ourselves, for African Americans or Black people in America, and it's very influential even to this day because this is a document, this is appeal that can be used for social change and change within a culture, within a country. So that's what's going on within this work. That's my summary analysis. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment so that the channel can continue to grow. All right.